Disclaimer. The following podcast may include content or subject matter that is inappropriate for younger listeners. Additionally, the views and beliefs expressed during this podcast are those of the individual or individuals speaking and not of everyone involved in its production unless otherwise noted. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bad Movie Studios Scattercast. I'm Nick here today with
John.
I'm Dan.
Tobin.
Eric.
and today's topic is the ever-loving, wonderful space. Star Wars.
Great start, Nick. First fucking episode.
Oh god, that's amazing.
Always off to a good start. Yeah, today's topic is the space epic Star Wars, something that nobody can live without, apparently.
I thought it was a space opera.
Space opera. I don't know, same difference.
Who cares?
It's a movie.
Same difference. It's a movie.
Lightsabers.
It's a movie. In fact, it's a bunch of movies.
Lightsabers, that's
The
it.
way they whine, it's a soap opera for space.
It's true.
That's
A
true.
spopera.
That's true. Sometimes it's just too beautiful, and then the sand is coarse in my feet, or whatever he says in episode 2.
And then next thing you know, lightsaber fight.
So today I'm joined with a few not Star Wars experts and a few also not Star Wars experts.
Yep.
And they're going to talk about Star Wars expertly, mostly from their point of view, which is the best way to talk about things,
Because
I
fuck
feel.
yeah.
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 I guess I'm just going to, read some questions.
Let's do this.
So how are you first introduced to the Star Wars? John, why don't you start us off first here?
Alright, I guess I will. I actually can't remember the first time I actually heard of Star Wars, but my first memory was driving back from like a road trip to see family in Cleveland. And my sister was watching one of the movies that doesn't exist. And
Okay.
yeah. And I remember looking at it, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's interesting. And I completely forgot about it for like 2 or 3 years, and I was like, oh, Star Wars. This is a thing that exists. I still haven't watched the movies, but I'm a sort of expert. I've seen the illustrious Family Guy presents Laugh It Up Fuzzball, so that works.
Blasphemer!
That's all good.
That's awesome.
What about you, Eric? You are like my go-to nerd about everything.
That's-
Everything nerd, I need you. You're what you're there for.
Yeah,
So,
that's me.
How exactly did you get into the Star Wars?
I'm like John. I don't remember how far back because it's like family heritage at that point. Like while I may not come from the most nerdy family, because good lord, the resistance of science and philosophy of science fiction versus religion is such a battle at home. But we've always loved Star Wars at my house, and I can remember watching the that which should never be talked about Christmas special when I was 5. And Jesus, Christmas of holy Tatooine, that was just oh man. But otherwise, I've lived with Star Wars all my life, from Legos and action figures when I was smaller than my foot to now when I'm still getting the new stuff just to set up new what-if encounters on the back porch. So Star Wars is in my blood, regardless of how well the Force is ingrained into my dying heart.
So what you're telling me is your bacteria isn't good enough for you to be a Jedi. So you're compensating.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Tobin, how about you? How did you get into the Star Wars?
You know the thing Eric just said, add a few more non sequiturs, and that's what I would have said. Had you asked me first. Had you asked me first, that's what I would have said.
And those non sequiturs are?
I don't know, something about fucking ducks probably in there somewhere.
Okay, let's stop you right
Alright.
there.
Wait a
That's
second.
fine. We don't
That's
need
a
to hear
different
this.
episode. We're not talking about that.
Episode 7, everybody.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan fucks with that.
Wow.
What about you, Dan? How did you get into the Star Wars?
Oh god, where do I start? I have multiple Star Wars experiences that I like popped in and out of. Like
Is this like your time at the brothel? Like
It
your
might be like that.
experiences?
It might
You
be like
head
that.
in there for like 5 minutes.
Experiences.
Just that
You're
job.
a cup of coffee here,
Yeah.
a cup of coffee there.
a couple of coffee, bottle of vodka, some whiskey.
Yeah.
That one stripper that took my money.
Sounds about right.
I mean, don't they all take your money?
Not really.
I mean, then
I'm
they
gonna hold out my money.
I feel like they didn't do their job.
I mean, like that one just kind of ground up against me. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay.
All right, Star Wars. I remember being at one of my friends' house, like when I was like young, still living in Long Island before I met any of you screwballs. And
I'm
while
a square, sir.
you're a square, Nick, you're a square.
I refuse
prefer
to-
the dodecahedron.
I
Thank
refuse.
you.
Listen here, Tumblr. You can take your non-conformance somewhere else.
Fucking tetrahedron. Okay.
Not all
Alright,
dice.
and like
I'm a bi-quadrilateral.
shut up.
Hashtag not all shapes.
Enough with shapes. Enough with the shape. And like I was saying, and unlike you guys, I actually do like the first 3 films. I don't know if you guys like them, but I do. And
as in first 3, like 1, 2, 3, or
1, 2,
4,
3, 1,
or
2,
4.
3.
You
Not
mean the prequel
the
trilogy.
prequels,
Okay.
the prequel trilogy. And like we actually watched the first movie. We loved it. He had lightsabers, and we started reenacting battles at the same time they were happening.
Like most kids.
Like most kids. And then I had another one where it involved what was it now? Episode 4 when it came on TV that one time, and I just sat there and was mesmerized by how much better that was than the prequels. Yet I still love the prequels. I can't not love the prequels. Then there was a time playing
I'm in the same
Battlefront.
boat. Like as bad as they
Yeah.
are cinematically, I enjoy them
Yeah.
as sequential Star Wars.
Exactly.
I guess we're gonna have to get into the prequel movies then.
We're gonna
touch on
it's,
the
it's
prequel.
inevitable.
If we talk because of those views, we're going to be just completely downloaded, just unlike.
How dare you like this?
Fuck them
the
people.
prequel movies.
He's liking the new tree.
We'll get to him later. I guess you know what though, not for nothing. I didn't actually like when I was younger. I remember like I knew Star Wars was a thing,
Oh yeah.
but like I didn't know anything about. Like I knew of Yoda. I
Oh.
knew of Darth Vader. I knew of Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
I just knew of things.
You fucking
But I
hipsters.
didn't actually know, like, the first Star Wars I was ever exposed to was Phantom Menace.
Oh.
So that's the first ever
Also like me.
That's the first one I ever saw. And because I saw it when I was a kid, I am of the generation that, like, actually enjoys the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Even though it is a tremendous piece of shit.
Yeah.
I won't lie, Darth Maul's my favorite Sith.
I mean, he's pretty damn cool.
So I guess...
Double-edged lightsaber.
Yeah, no, how getting into Star Wars for me, and I was never a massive fan, but, like, I more liked the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I more liked the universe than I actually cared for the story or the events in it.
Okay.
I cared more like the characters are kind of cool.
Like, can I ask a quick question? Who else is like that? Like, they don't really like necessarily pay attention to the story, but at the same time, they like the world that they are in.
Yeah,
That's the
I-
thing. Like,
Yeah.
Watching those movies for me, I care more about what's happening in the background than I
Yeah.
ever do.
yeah, that
like,
Yeah.
always shows that is actually a really good.
You care less
Piece
about
of
the struggle, but more about that galaxy far, far away.
That's like a really good like signal. That's a really good series.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
if you get more invested in not just the characters, but the world itself, and you're like, ooh, I wonder what their ideas would be like with sports and such.
Yeah.
So
Like Jabba the Hutt.
I mean, really, yeah, jump. I mean, really, it's just kind of, for me, I was never able to differentiate prequel from, like, the old films.
Yeah.
From the original trilogy, from the prequel trilogy. It never bothered me because to me, when I grew up, it was kind of just all Star Wars. It was the first 3 movies and the next 3 movies and the cartoons and the video games and the comic books and everything like that.
Like there was never really
I like the
any
first animated
divide
series.
for me because
Right.
like I saw it as it is a sequence in story.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much more to the world. Like, I never, especially with the prequels, like I'd pick out a character or two that I really liked, but like I really didn't care for like the storyline at all. It was in any of the 6 films because it was really just looking in the background in the world. Like any time in the prequels that I saw the planet Coruscant, it was just. Imagine if we lived in a city like that. Like, imagine, like, the Undercity, the capitalist side, like, where the important people are, where the not as prominent zones are. Like, that's just how I view it.
It's almost like any scene where there's a stormtrooper. I'm more interested in them than anything else going on.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the day-to-day dealings.
I always thought, like, I wonder what this guy's, like, not on duty hours were like.
Yeah.
What did he do? Did he, like, just sit in a room?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what did he do?
Well, that's why we have Robot Chicken.
Oh, yeah.
That's
why they're Robot Chicken.
It just remembers that the 80s were a thing.
Thank you, Seth
Yeah.
Green, for telling us that stormtroopers do have lives besides getting shot
Yes.
and
You
not
know-
shooting anything.
Not for nothing though, their aim is shit. If they were to throw a rock, it would miss the ground.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
Stormtrooper
It would just
shooting
no.
academy.
It would just
Uh,
go off into space for a bit.
So,
Yeah, right.
I guess it's got to be the next segue. So,
Okay.
pretty much, I mean, the prequel movies. What do we feel about the prequel? Because, like I said, it never bothered me.
Yeah.
Because when I watched them, I just kind of saw them as they were.
Yeah.
And it was when I finally actually sat down to watch Star Wars, it was just I watched all 6.
Yeah.
I rented them from Hollywood Video, sat down and just watched all 6.
Back
and
when
then
Hollywood
you
Video
just
was a thing.
called it a day.
The
And it was
same
and it
over.
was the special editions too.
Oh.
The first Star Wars I ever saw was the special editions. I didn't own any of the original versions until very recently, weeks ago.
I've always had the originals, so I like to analyze the differences between those and the special editions. It's because we've always had the classic VHSs from the 1960s and 70s, and that's when we get to that, I have something definitely to say on that one. But when it comes definitely to talk on the prequels, I don't think I ever really hated them at any point, because in Episode 1 you see Palpatine before he becomes the Emperor, and but to those who've always just enjoyed Star Wars, you go, that's that guy. We can see where he goes, what gets him there,
Right.
and you never really had to care too much.
I'll kind of add a little bit something to that. I think the best part about that is that it's the same actor. It's the same guy from Episode 6. It's the same guy from Episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's the same. So it kept the continuity between that.
Right,
and it was also
right.
kind of cool knowing ahead of time of where Anakin ends. The Darth Vader story.
You know how everything
So
ends,
now you see him as
what
an
happens
8-year-old.
before.
You're like, oh my god, what is going to happen to you to turn you into, Buckethead? When,
Black Helmet Man.
yeah, you're 7'2" asthmatic Black Helmet Man. What's going to happen to you to turn you into that? And I always thought that was a really cool thing. Although I will admit, I don't think it was handled perfectly well.
No,
But then
it
again,
was
I
not.
also that kind of gets more into talking about George Lucas as a filmmaker, because he's a vastly different filmmaker at the time he's making those movies as he is back in 1977 making Star Wars and things.
Yeah.
By the time he was making the prequels, he was just a guy with a bunch of money from the 80s, and he didn't know what to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
So he just used it to do that.
He now had money, whereas he was working off such a strict budget before.
Exactly.
He had to care. He had to really put fine tuning, and every little thing mattered. And then when he got to it, he rushed it, and he really couldn't have put in. He could have put in a lot more, but didn't.
You
That's a good way of
have
thinking
to
about
have to take into consideration he was a very artsy filmmaker, and he was really into doing the tone poems and stuff that were going around San Francisco or Southern California at the time or whatever. He was a really, like I say, he's a really artsy guy, really into the technical side of things. And some of his earlier stuff, if you ever get to see some of his stuff, like when he was an early filmmaker or doing student stuff or whatever, it's very cool. It's very kind of not avant-garde, but it's just a little bit different, a little bit out there.
Yeah.
It's nice. And one of the things that it kind of seems like he was very much a guy, especially after his stuff we're doing American Graffiti and THX and whatever, didn't really want to fall into the whole big bloated billionaire, fucking hate those
Everyone
things.
else's stereotype, really.
Kind of, yeah.
But then that's kind of what he became.
He became a big bloated billionaire. And the merchandise. God, the merchandise.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't stop. There's no limit. And
There was no stopping.
As someone who still does purchase Star Wars merchandise,
it's accessible.
It's you get down to the point where you could be buying two different things that are the same character, and one has a holster, the other doesn't, but everything else is the same, and it's so, honestly, I think it's bullshit that.
Well, it's the collector mentality, But
right.
You know what the thing? It's I watched. It's a very, very good point you make up. That you bring up. I recently watched a documentary called Jedi Junkies. Very cool documentary.
I remember hearing about
If you get it,
that.
it's on Netflix. If you get a chance to check it. I watched that. Another really good one. George Lucas versus the World.
Yes.
The People versus George
one of
Lucas.
my
Excuse me. The
favorite-
People versus George Lucas. Excuse me. It's very good. It is
It's one of my
fantastic.
favorite documentaries on the subject.
It's one of the really good it's not all about Star Wars, but it really does focus on George Lucas and the things that he does.
Makes sense, yeah.
And how earlier he was one of the people that petitioned against the colorization of black and white films.
Right.
Who then he later goes back and edits his own movies and refuses to release the originals.
These are my movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like from South Park. These
Yeah.
are my movies, But it's a fantastic documentary. The both of them are really cool. But in Jedi Junkies, one of the things they're talking about is they're interviewing this guy with this massive Star Wars collection, and he's talking about I had to buy this Chewbacca, but then 6 months later this other Chewbacca came out, and its hand is closed instead of open, so I had to buy that one too. I had to buy this Chewbacca because Star Wars is written in 3 different languages, and then this Chewbacca, the back is in Japanese, but it's the same figure.
One of those.
And it's
I have that same kind of collection.
Yeah.
honestly.
No, you do. You know what though?
Yeah.
Not for nothing.
Same here.
It's an
Yeah.
aside.
You?
His collection of fucking Transformers
Oh my god.
is
Oh,
impressive. Like
I've
it's
never
expansive,
heard of this
and it's like different generations. It's
I
different
have from
fucking,
Gen 1 to Age of Extinction.
yeah.
Wow.
And
So
everything
got
in between.
I think
From,
that's another
TV,
topic
from
for
the
another
TV
day.
cartoons of Armada and Energon to Prime and Rescue Bots.
And
that are
this
out
is why
now.
he's my go-to nerd of
Yeah.
the four.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see
And
I think
I-
that's a topic for
but
another
your
day, though.
even
Yeah.
your Star Wars collection is
It-
pretty
my
Star-
robust.
back to Star
You've
Wars.
seen my
Okay.
Transformers collection. My
Yeah.
Star Wars collection is exponentially 20-fold from that.
Oh,
but I
God.
keep that boxed up
Mhm.
just because I don't have the massive space.
No, absolutely.
That's
No.
kept it. Like,
I've seen a few things. I've seen the kind of like you have like compiled in a room,
right.
and they're like jammed in a corner, and it's like you look at it, and you're like, that's the
that's
tip
just-
of the iceberg that kills the Titanic.
Right,
Yeah.
Like,
it's
a
a lot
lot.
of excess because everything else is in all those drawers and cabinets you've
Yeah.
seen on that porch, and I have, if I'd have to put a number on it, and even in the condition that some of them are in, I'd have to say I have around $2 to $3 million worth at least of
Jesus.
Star Wars merchandise and toys and products.
I'm
and
gonna have to
stuff.
see this collection.
Just in all the packed away and everything that's there between
That's
the
a lot.
different rooms.
that's a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Going back to the idea of the prequels that we were talking about.
yeah.
I like the prequels, but I fucking hate the storyline. I like the prequels because of the world building.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier, you know,
Yeah.
you really get interested in the world. That's why I
it
like
lets
the
you
prequels.
see what you
Right.
only heard of back
Right.
in the classic trilogy.
Seeing-
we'll call them.
Seeing like Alderaan, what it
Right.
was actually like, you know.
Right. When
I
it was
thought that was
actually
really cool.
Alderaan
Yeah.
instead of
And
just
then
nothing.
you-
Just
you-
a fucking
Space dust.
asteroid.
when
thing.
Liam comments on the Galactic Senate,
Right, when you see
were
what
always
that
like,
looks like.
What
Yeah.
was that? Oh, now we're in Coruscant. We
Yeah.
actually get to see this was a thing, and we get to see its corruption
In
and
fact,
control.
you get to see Yoda throw some fucking Senate at Palpatine.
Yes.
And then I threw the
Yeah.
Senate at him.
The whole
No,
Senate.
no, you gotta say it like Yoda. If you're gonna say it,
No,
say it like Yoda.
Palpatine throws
No,
the Senate.
fuck,
Yeah.
no,
Fucking
say-
up, Dan.
No, I'm always fucking up.
The
Don't
Senate
worry.
I threw at him.
Door at women. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's not go there.
I guess you know what though. I have to say, like we said, the prequel trilogies, and pretty much for our generation, younger Star Wars fans, in the larger consideration, because it's been around since the 70s now. It's been around for almost 40 years now,
That's
which is
true.
like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so the prequel movies don't bother us, you know, personally so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, too much.
But there is one key aspect, one key fucking point in the Star Wars prequels that I can't avoid it. I have to mention it.
When you-
And we're
Anakin?
gonna have a little round table.
Wait, wait, wait.
No.
Oh,
Wait.
okay.
Yeah, but no. Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my
Lisa
God.
like a Gungan.
If we had
So-
video, you would see
so,
the collective sigh.
I need
Just
to.
what we
Here's the
find
here's
out.
the deal.
That's
Wait,
not
wait,
side.
here's the
Here's
deal.
the
Hold on, hold on, hold on,
No,
hold on,
look,
hold
look.
on, hold on. Rein in here.
You guys
Here's the
had a
deal.
collective sigh.
Um,
I enjoy the character.
I love Jar Jar Binks. I wholeheartedly adore him. He is my favorite Star Wars character, next to Qui-Gon Jinn
Oh.
and Darth Maul.
Thank you.
I'm telling you,
Thank you very much.
I am a
Liam
child of
Neeson.
nostalgia, and it's like which is what I was exposed to first. Liam Neeson as a Jedi, fuck yeah. I want to see Oscar Schindler with a lightsaber,
Yeah.
hell yeah. And fucking Darth Maul is fucking badass, of course.
Yeah.
So
We're
for
gonna get
whatever
live
reason,
action for this.
I don't know why people hate Jar Jar
I-
Binks though.
I
That's what I'm
just-
trying to figure out.
I loved fucking Jar Jar. I mean, he's a dumb character, and
He is
he's
Ed.
horribly
He
horribly
is
pulled
the
off.
Ed.
He's
for
a
that
terrible
movie.
fucking character. So
Shoehorn.
I want the around the room of Jar Jar Binks. I want to go.
Just
I want
before
to
we
go.
get there, 38 years. A
It's
New
a-
Hope came out in 1977.
Officially?
It's 2015 now. It's been 38 years since Star Wars first came out on the big
That's a
screen,
fucking lifetime.
and the
That's
world
amazing.
became to know it.
You
Yeah.
grew up and had kids in a family in a house. Like
Yes.
you've moved a couple
Yeah.
times. Like, so yeah, Jar Jar. John, we're gonna start with you. What are your
Always
opinions
starting with me.
on the red Jar Jar, on the red Gungan?
Uh,
Jar Binks.
well, I know what the internet.
I don't care what the internet
I
thinks.
know,
What
I
do
know,
you
I
think?
know.
Unless you are the internet.
You're leaving
You
the
don't know
mass
that.
now, John.
Just
You're
just
an
let him-
individual.
Just give him his time. Give him his time.
I'll give Jar Jar his time. Well, again, I'm influenced by like a lot of different people, and even then, I'm not as deeply involved in Star Wars as apparently the rest of you guys are. I'm more or less I'm like the rookie, kind of not knowing what's going on here. But with Jar Jar, I think he's like a funny character. He's cool. He's not necessarily interesting, but he
a bit special ed.
a little, but but here's the thing. I don't necessarily think he was a good fit to just have running around the prequel
I think
trilogy.
I can kind of agree with you on that one.
Because
As much as I like him and he's for the kids,
Yeah.
he is still pretty shit.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I get,
Not to
from
mention he gained a Senate seat.
yeah,
Then
which
he's
is a
he's
thing.
that was the
literally
moment.
George Lucas decides to just fuck you in the ass because people hate, like, the older fans hate Jar Jar, so he's like, yeah, well, he's the deciding vote to give Emperor Palpatine all the strength.
yeah.
Fuck you.
So now he's even more hated.
Yeah.
But,
What about you, Daniel-san? What is your thoughts on the Binks?
Misa think Binks was alright.
oh god.
Oh, don't start with
I'm
that.
not gonna start with the voice. Don't worry, that was just for one thing. But in all honesty, in total honesty, not really a good fit, like you guys said. He's the Ed from Ed and Eddie of that trilogy right there.
Mhm.
But nevertheless, he was an alright fit, like for the kids or whatever. In terms of comic relief, he did his job. And
But do you have to think he's funny? Because I don't.
as a kid, I thought he was funny.
I think he's like abysmally terrible. Like, he is the worst character, admittedly, but
Yeah.
I love him. I
Like-
just can't. It's like the sharks in Sharknado. They're terrible, but I love them.
It's
Yeah.
a guilty
That's
pleasure.
exactly
Yeah.
it. It's a guilty pleasure. Like, I don't like him as a character, but at the same time, I like him.
You don't
So-
like him in universe, but you like him like the idea.
Like,
I
he-
like
he
him,
was
I
there,
like
so
him in
I liked him.
universe. It's like I like him in universe, but I hate what he is.
Yes.
I hate what he represents.
Yeah. Then, like you said, the Senate seat. I'm just
Big
like,
T,
what?
Mr. Tobin.
Okay,
What
I would
are
like
your-
to preface what I'm about to say
Oh boy.
Oh god.
by saying
oh no.
Here we fucking
I love the Star Wars movies. The Star Wars movies raised me more than my parents did.
go. Get ready, guys.
But Star Wars is a dumb film series. They are stupid movies.
Damn.
And so we begin.
This
This
dude
is.
just
I
said-
think I need a segue. Hold
What?
on. You
You-
keep talking, Tobin.
Keep going.
I think we need
And
to take
Jar
this
Jar Binks
counter.
is a stupid character.
So not
But
just the
that's
internet, but
why it's so perfect. Jar Jar Binks perfectly illustrates the stupidity of Star Wars inside Star Wars. He lets us know, hey, you're watching a movie. You might love it. You might have loved it since you were a kid, but it's really stupid. Never forget that. And that's why I love Jar Jar Binks.
Now,
wait.
now,
So you just made love to Jar Jar.
overall, I do think, like, realistically speaking, I don't think Jar Jar's any worse than the Ewoks. I think the Ewoks are fucking worse
Okay,
than
let's
Jar
not
Jar.
mention them anymore.
Fucking furballs with sticks are what are gonna take down the fucking Empire. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
But however, I need to get on to the bigger point. Star Wars is dumb. It is really stupid, and I need to hear your reasons why.
Watch the fucking movie and you'll see why it's fucking stupid.
Explain from your point
Take
right.
off the fucking nostalgia
but we need,
blinders.
but that's it. Is for those who
I don't
can't
have the
do
nostalgia
that.
thing. I just want to hear why you think it.
Yeah.
right
Because
we
I
just
kind of
wanna know
agree
what
with
your
you. I do
point
think
is.
Star Wars is kind of dumb at some points in time. It is pretty dumb.
Like you said, the last movie ends with teddy bears destroying an evil empire.
The fucking galactic
Oh, yeah,
empire.
that's right.
That's
you know,
true.
you have to remember
That's true,
that, like, fucking Care Bears took down Terminators.
the
pretty much.
subtext that we like to forget that, like, Luke kissed his sister.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we
all
like to forget
just
that bit of incest.
passed over it.
We're talking about Alderaan was like the Mississippi.
Okay.
So
I guess that's why it blew up.
I don't know.
all right. So Eric, what about you? What do you think of the Jar Jar?
I like okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I fucking love Jar Jar Binks.
Yet another one that says he loves him.
He was one of my favorite characters from the entire Star Wars series. Out of all 6 films, out of all the TV shows, Jar Jar was always one of my favorite characters.
Hashtag Binks
Second
Nation.
to only one person,
Who was?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I was after we lost Qui-Gon, I was honestly like I kind of held on to Obi-Wan like, yeah, you're okay, but you're nothing like Liam Neeson. And
fucking hated Ewan McGregor. I know he did a great job,
Liam Neeson
but I fucking hated him.
I
You
didn't
couldn't take Liam's
even
place.
know Liam Neeson as an actor until I saw The Phantom Menace.
Mhm.
And since then, I've loved him as an actor. I've seen every single thing he's been in, and he does it beautifully.
He is a fantastic actor, no doubt about it. Although he was kind of dull in Star Wars, I can't lie.
A bit.
Right, but that's because, unfortunately, in the film, they didn't give the character too much. Whereas for someone like me who reads all the extended universe books and whatnot,
Right.
Oh.
Qui-Gon Jinn is one of the most fate-changing characters for young Jedi, even before Obi-Wan and Anakin. And he always was a pinnacle character for so many different events.
Okay.
During the older Republic.
Should we just splinter off?
To kind of bank off of that, because you just said he's your favorite character. So who's everybody's favorite character?
I was going to ask that
in
same
Star
thing.
Wars?
One thing I would like to say before we go into that, I would like to clarify. I hate Jar Jar Binks as a character. I just like him as an idea,
Okay.
Sure.
Something that points out how stupid the Star Wars movies are.
That's fine. So,
Along with giant.
who do you not hate, Tobin? Who do you?
My
Who's your favorite
favorite
character?
Who's your
Come
favorite
back to
character?
me. Come back to me. I have
Come
to
back
think
to you.
about
All
that
right,
one.
Dan, what's your favorite character?
Me being the dark.
I feel I know
sick
exactly what you're gonna
motherfucker
say.
that I am.
I know you're. Gonna
A lot of people from the dark side, like Darth Maul, General Grievous, Darth
Grievous
Vader
was pretty
himself.
badass. Grievous
is my number
General
3.
Grievous was the best part of
Yeah.
what's his in
The
episode 3?
3.
Yeah.
He's the best part of 3 for me.
Along with the special effects.
Yeah, actually,
He
you know
was
who?
really cool.
Not for nothing, my favorite characters are pretty similar. I love Vader.
Yeah.
I love Maul.
Yeah.
I love Qui-Gon. I love Jar Jar because I'm a disgusting fuck. I love Grievous, but my favorite Sith of all time, Count Dooku.
Really?
Yes.
So
because
your
of
favorite is Darth Tyrannus.
it's Count Dooku because
Count Dooku.
I am a huge fucking horror. I'm a film agent. I'm a
Oh,
horror film
I see where
guy,
you're going with this.
and I
Yes.
fucking love Christopher Lee. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors of all time.
I see where you're going with this.
I loved him in the fucking Hammer Dracula movies.
Yeah.
I loved him his entire career. Everything I've ever seen him in, he's a guy who I can watch in anything. If he narrated porn, I'd watch it. I love Christopher Lee. I love Christopher
The dual
Lee.
narration between
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman and Christopher Lee of a porn saga is what now
he's
needs
That's
to
like-
orgasmic
happen.
enough on its own.
He's
We
the
need
kind
a
of
petition?
person not to, because I really don't want to start a whole conversation drawing parallels between Star Wars and fucking Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
because that's a whole topic on its own. But he, to me, makes fucking Lord of the Rings. There is nothing in the fucking universe that could have done a better job as Sauron or fucking Saruman
Yeah.
than Christopher Lee. I love him so much. I fucking suck his dick. I love Christopher Lee. So Count Dooku is I fucking love him. He's fucking fantastic.
Not for nothing though, I actually have other favorite characters that weren't actual characters at all. Like I did love the droids and how fucking stupid they were.
Right.
Versus the advanced ones that would just fuck you, get out of my way, I will kill you.
The-
And then there were the
normal
ones that roll
brown-
in.
Yeah.
Then the ones that roll in is just I'm invincible. What are
The
you gonna do
Droideka
about
are some of the best. It's just
Then-
oh look,
yeah.
there's a shield too. How
So,
much else do we have to
it?
do?
Oh yeah. Also to go with that, the bestiary too. Do you remember that?
That
arena
was cool.
execution?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the
that was
second movie?
that was the best part.
It was just what the
besides
fuck is that
besides
thing?
Dooku, that was the best part
Yeah.
too.
Just what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah. So what about you, John? Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Again, this is just from what I've seen. I would have to say either Vader,
Mhm.
R2.
I knew it.
Oh yeah.
You know what you look like? You look like a Greedo kind of guy.
I mean,
You look like you'd be about some Greedo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
General
I'm-
Greedo.
Greedo shot first.
Get the fuck out.
Just because you got a green slug on your shirt.
Let's
don't
just
mean
all right. Let's segue because
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me in any sort of nerd rage. But let's just put this aside. Greedo didn't shoot first. Han was the only one to shoot.
Exactly.
The end.
I don't know if anyone else caught that. He fucking shot the dude. There was no contest.
All right, so let's kind of segment here. But Tobin, favorite Star Wars character?
I love the Ewoks.
Oh,
You
just because you look like one doesn't mean shit, Tobin.
you dick.
I love
No,
the
Tobin
Ewoks.
looks like that big fucking frost monster on the ice planet.
The Wampa, yes.
Yeah.
He's like,
The
I
Wampa.
will
Yeah,
rape
Wampa.
you.
I could see Tobin playing a Wampa for us. That's
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So kind of tailing off of that, saying he never shot first. What do we think of the special edition? What do
Wait,
you
you're
guys-
not even gonna let me explain why I love the Ewoks?
Let's
No,
not get into
I don't
that.
need to know
Okay,
why you
fine,
love the Ewoks.
fine.
It's
You and your
just-
animal porn.
It's just
I had-
Tobin.
I had a legitimate
I can't
justification
stand
for
the
that.
little head bob edit they did to Han to allow for them to do a laser edit for Greedo.
That was bad.
the fact that they added a shot from Greedo when it never happened ever
Was also bad.
was terrible. The fact that they changed who Jabba the Hutt was
Yes, they did.
is
Why they
something
change
that
that?
Wait, how
Slugman.
so? Explain.
How'd they change
Jabba the Hutt was originally
They recorded a scene. What happens is they recorded a scene outside of the cantina.
No giant
where
Slugman?
no, he
where
was never supposed to. The
They-
Hutts,
That's right. He
the
wasn't
Hutts
supposed to
were
be that.
never
I know that
supposed to
much.
be the species that they are
Really?
as a non-humanoid. They were supposed to be
Oh.
large, like Neanderthal and bulky fat people
Mhm.
wearing furs and other shit.
That's what it is.
Oh.
They originally recorded a
Oh, I
scene
get it.
where
Makes
Han
sense,
Solo
yeah.
talks to Jabba the Hutt outside of the what's the cantina?
Well,
Yeah, the
outside
cantina.
of his ship.
Outside
And
of the Falcon.
And in the Star Wars Episode 4 that you see, that most channels play, that's the scene where you're watching Jabba and him talking where he accidentally steps on Jabba's tail.
They added that back because that was originally recorded with an actor, and then they just decided it didn't work at the time. They couldn't, whatever reason, they decided it didn't fit. So they put all the information you needed in that scene into the Greedo scene, which makes that completely fucking null. And you don't need this anymore. All the information that was necessary is now in the Greedo scene. You know what happens. That scene, whether he shoots first or not, still gets across the same point. You can continue on with the story.
No.
So in the special editions, they decided to put him back in there with a terrible, absolutely terrible CG fucking creation. And then they touched it up later in 2004 for the next special edition, whatever.
2005.
Okay. Yeah, it was when the third one,
Right.
episode 3 came out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really hold up very well. But especially the 97 looks terrible. But that's when they introduced him as the worm-like thing that you would see later in episodes
Giant fat slug.
5, 6?
Episode 6.
It's episode
Well,
6?
technically, episode 6, the giant slug thing, came before the, episode 4 special edition.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
But like when you see him
Yeah.
later as the giant slug man, it is the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that was one of those big things that they changed in the movie. It wasn't just like changing the effects, changing the wipes or whatever.
They changed, like, the
Editing
basis of the
the
character.
frames of the Star Wars logo across the screen and the text scroll and whatever.
Yeah.
That stuff was different.
Special editions.
'Cause
Well-
you're more of the authority on this for us, though.
Yeah.
Springboarding
Yeah, I'm not even
off
gonna
of
close it
talking
out.
about that scene where Jabba and Han are talking at the Falcon. I don't like that scene, and here's why. Without that scene, Jabba the Hutt is this big mysterious figure. Like, oh, who's Jabba the Hutt, And it builds up to eventually episode 6 where you finally see, he's this giant slug thing. Like, holy shit. But with that
No
scene
wonder
in,
you didn't like getting near him.
Exactly. Without that scene, it's building up. You're trying to figure out, who is this guy? Why is he so dangerous? Why does nobody want to cross him? Now, when you add that scene in, there's no mystery.
You're
He's
just
just
spoiling it.
He's
yeah.
just this cartoony guy. I don't
Yeah.
want to deal. I don't care that I have to deal with him. Like,
Jabba seems like much more of a bitch when you add that scene in, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's just feel like,
His death scene is like the fucking worst.
Uh,
He's actually, and to me, that is like his death scene is one of the worst. That whole fucking Sarlacc pit's one of the worst
Oh, yeah,
moments
the
in the
Sarlacc
series.
the
for me.
vagina sand
I
thing?
hate it so much. I think like that. It's so ludicrous for me.
well,
They
it's-
have this like secret head nod. You're
Yeah.
ready, and then the fucking thing goes down.
and this
Leia chokes him to death with a chain in like 30 seconds.
and yet
You know-
nobody
you know
does.
what I'm
None
kinda-
of
no
his
one
people
helps.
do anything about it.
But like, and the fucking Boba Fett, you have a jetpack.
Bubble feet.
and that connects back to what I was saying earlier. Star Wars
It's stupid.
are stupid,
Definitely.
stupid
Because
movies.
You
they
know what I'm
don't-
trying to figure out? Like, the physics behind Leia choking out Jabba. He has so much neck fat, I don't even think she could actually even choke him.
I would agree.
Like how is he just...
She'd have to have a really sharp chain to cut into any of it.
And
but that's
then choke him.
that's hyper analyzing.
Physics!
But now,
But hold on, I want to comment on the whole Boba Fett jetpack thing because as someone who reads the EU,
he falls into that fucking thing like 3 times.
2 more times after that time, and he gets out 3 times. The first time after Han kicks him in, and then another 2 times after that after escaping.
Greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Keeps getting stuck in the
gets-
fucking Sarlacc pit.
Keeps getting beaten by a hole in the ground while he can fucking fly.
Yes.
Ah!
Now, but the way they do Remedy in the books is it is well written on how it happens with the jetpack using the missile, things like that. Him like it is an animal, so he's essentially killing his way out. But the fact that they keep having it happen Again, you'd think he'd learn his lesson or learn to get a better fucking jetpack or jet boots or something that keeps him out of the fucking Sarlacc
It's
pit.
not even like the fucking Sarlacc pit can come to you. You have to go to it.
Oh my god! And if you're going to land anywhere on that ground, land away from the damn pit.
There is an entire fucking desert
around that
Do not
small
land in the
crater.
8-foot tooth hole. It's pretty fucking obvious.
8-foot tooth hole. That's a good band name.
8-foot tooth hole.
8-foot tooth hole.
I believe it. Who wants to start a Star Wars, man? 8-foot tooth hole.
Oh yes.
So, yeah, I think we can pretty much all consent that the
Boba Fett kind of sucks.
Boba Fett
Really?
Yeah.
You have failed your father. What the fuck is wrong with you?
So kind of getting into that, what is let's do like a most favorite and kind of a least favorite moment. Like, what is something that sticks out for you that you just
Do we want to start going around the room with our most favorite or our least favorite?
Let's do that first. Let's
Most
do
favorites?
most favorite and a little why, and then we'll do least favorite afterwards. So Eric, let's start with you.
I want you to save both of mine for last.
Okay. All right. Dan.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yeah, let's
Well,
see what you do.
I have a couple favorite moments. Like, I'm just gonna name them off, and then you can ask me why afterwards.
That's fine.
Like, I pretty much like every last lightsaber fight ever in those movies. Those were just fucking amazing. And like,
Will you
Wait.
just to touch on that for a second though?
ones?
They got so much better in the prequel.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
They
they
were
did.
fucking
The
great.
lightsaber fights were amazing.
Just
They
for the
were
sake
fucking
of they
great,
now
yeah.
had the technology to
Yeah.
be able to do
Yeah.
having stuntmen flip
Yes.
around
Yeah.
a bit and
Like,
even
yeah.
like the CGI for people
That
like
is
Yoda.
that is what I will never hold against the original the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
The action in the movies
Yes.
is done much
The
better.
action.
like
is-
if
And
you
there's
took
much
it
more
away
of
it.
from a story-driven movie.
keep you
It's a
in
great
there.
popcorn film.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, who's gonna fight who next? Who's gonna kill who
Yeah.
next? Is this gonna
The
happen?
fucking fight scene in episode I know we can come back to that.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
episode 1, the fight scene with fucking
Darth
Obi-Wan
and Darth Maul
and
and Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon.
the three-way.
Yeah.
That was
final
fucking
scene,
great. It was kind of, I thought the ending was kind of weak,
Yeah.
but it was fucking great.
Yeah.
I loved that whole, they walk and the fucking, the red sort of thing comes in, it stops them, and they have to, like, they're segmented, and you get fucking Darth Maul sitting there with this thing, he's pacing back and forth, like, ready to, I was like, that's fucking cool.
That was just
That's
tension building
badass.
right there.
I remember I was like 5 years old when I first saw episode 1. And when I saw Darth Maul had that fucking double lightsaber,
Yeah.
I lost my shit.
Like, what the fucking, he's like, zoom,
Oh.
zoom!
Like, wait, stop! What are you
Yeah,
doing?
no, fucking cool. Actually, did you know that apparently at some point in time a Darth Maul video game was being worked on?
Yes,
And
it
it got abandoned.
Yeah,
and
it had Batman like Arkham like fighting physics kind of.
I want
would've
that.
played the
I
dick
would
off
have
of that.
because
I would have preferred a Darth Maul game more than the.
you know they were
Alright.
gonna make it darker than any other Star Wars game
Yeah,
ever released. It was gonna be amazing.
All right,
But,
so
like,
what are
yeah.
your
Also-
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lightsaber battles.
Like I said,
fucking
lightsaber
fantastic.
battles.
And even episode 2 had some fucking great fucking battles, and
Yeah.
episode 3,
Yeah.
fucking great.
Like
Awesome. the
like,
Grievous Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
fucking
yeah.
amazing.
I'm
That's
putting
also
that-
one of my other favorites, even
I'm,
though it constitutes as a lightsaber battle.
That's one of my that to touch on that. That's one of that animal was one of my favorite things out of the entire thing. That lizard bird thing that Obi-Wan rode.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Yes.
episode
while
2?
chasing Grievous
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
No, in episode
Oh, that's
3.
3?
Yeah.
While he's chasing him through Utapau.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest things I
Yeah.
ever saw
It
when it,
was
came to the
pretty cool.
bestiary.
Bit of
Yeah.
Wyvern type fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's- Right.
I am of the camp that doesn't like the fact that Yoda used a lightsaber in the prequels.
All right, because you know what? That kind of took the. I can kind of agree with him,
Yeah.
and we'll get back to you. in a
Alright,
second.
yeah.
But I can kind of agree with you on that one because Yoda, to me, the thing I liked about Yoda in the original trilogy is that he was a complete fucking badass, but in a way of like
In a not
you kind of
obvious
it was
way.
more assumed what he could do.
Yeah.
He was his power with the Force was so fucking great. And he's lifting the fucking, what is it, the X-Wing out of
Yeah.
the fucking swamp and shit. He's doing crazy shit. And it's like, it's like, you just kind of assume that, like, he can do all this badass stuff. So then when you see him in the prequel trilogy, it would have been cooler to me if I would just like to have seen him kind of waddle his way through a thing and just wham forward push
Yeah.
a fucking
Yes.
building over.
So kind of like what happens in the Force Unleashed, except he doesn't do shit. He
Yeah,
just
but
walks and-
because once it got to like when he fights Dooku and is it part 2?
Yeah.
And
episode 2,
yeah, in
part
episode 2
2,
he fights Dooku and it's just like this CG like hoppy flip. I didn't like that. I actually
What
really
I did
disliked
like
that.
though out of that fight was that they just kept taking chunks of the room, throwing
Yeah.
them at each
That
other.
part
and,
was pretty good.
and
yeah.
it,
And the
it just
Force
kept
lightning.
showing right, and that he would capture Force lightning that Dooku threw at him, and just kind of go snuff in my hand, throw more rocks at you,
Yeah.
and then
He's mastered rock throw.
Yeah.
right, it's
Yoda,
he
use
is the
rock
fir-
throw.
He was the first
Yoda.
Earthbender. We all know
Yeah.
this.
No, I love it. And like I said, it's anytime
Um,
Christopher Lee gets to do anything, I like it. So that was fucking great.
I loved in episode 3 the scene where Yoda's about to fight the Emperor, when the two royal guards turn their spears at him, and he just fucking looks at him, and they just go down.
That was fucking...
Yes.
That was just... He gives them the old Clint Eastwood, and then they just die. We
all know they melted on the inside. Okay, as I was saying, and another one of my favorite scenes from my childhood, oh my god, it was just fucking the best thing ever. That whole scene where Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin were supposed to be executed in the second movie.
The arena execution on Genosha.
Is that the big rhino fucking thing?
That is called a reek.
Yes.
Sorry.
The big green thing is called an Acklay, which is, if you ever played the Battlefront games, we learn, without reading the EU, if you only played the games, you learned that they are found on the planet of Felucia, which is where the one Jedi, Ayla Secura, who was one of the green, one of the blue Twi'leks.
Yeah.
She is from that planet, but they're not native to that planet. They were brought there to exterminate another species, and they became an invasive species, just like cane toads in Australia.
Then there was a Nexu in that.
Star Wars
cane toads is the cat-like thing, which is
the biggest dick ever.
One of that species in the entirety of the bestiary is one of the most feared galaxy-wide, because it is essentially an actual animal form of the Predator from the Predator films, because it blends into all, regardless of the type of environment it's dropped in, it can essentially become just cloaked into that environment and just blend in and can stalk you no matter what, and you don't tend to hear it. You don't tend to see it. It's usually one of those it's too late, especially because its tail has suction cups on it.
It was a fucking... Those things were pretty cool. Like, just something you didn't really get to see a lot of.
Right.
In real trilogy, the fucking kind of the animals, the fauna.
And I'm just going to add, like, one more last thing in. One of my other favorite scenes. I'm just going to say one word. Rancor.
Always a good one.
I don't know a Star Wars fan who doesn't like the Rancor.
The Rancor
it's good. It's pretty
Again, it sucks that the Rancor goes down so quickly, and you don't get to see it do some damage.
That was disappointing. I would have liked to see like some sort of a fight scene. What about you, Toby? Any other fucking the key moments of the series that you really kind of point out you like?
I'm with Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, in that I really like the one scene in episode 3 at the Opera House.
It's
the Opera
fucking
House scene.
great.
Oh my
with
god.
Anakin and
the music
Emperor.
and the visuals on that.
And they're creating a mythos within the mythos.
Yeah, no, that is
that there was adding into, because people, that entire story, that entire stuff, that's all in the EU that not everyone read, not everyone knows about. And that gave them reason to go looking for
That's one of those fucking scenes that like salvaged episode 3 for me, because I really wasn't crazy about episodes 2 and 3. Like I kind of whatever. I know they got better Star Wars fans, but to me I was like kind of whatever. At fucking episode 3, like I felt the prequel trilogies were so weak on the story.
Yeah.
That fucking scene did so much to like fucking make up for that.
In all honesty,
and like the mythos in the mythos, I fucking love that. Like the backstory that you get, the idea that like there's more to this, but you're not hearing the whole thing. Yeah. That like fucking Palpatine is more involved than he's letting on, but it's really fucking cool. And it's the one fucking scene when fucking what's his name, Hayden Christensen. I don't fucking hate him. See, I hate him so much. I don't know his name. I don't fucking know his name. It's the one scene where I don't like dislike him like as an actor.
I liked his performance in episode 3 specifically.
Yes.
Episode 2,
he played the corruption really well.
Yeah. The corruption was good.
Episode 2 was dick.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
They could have
yes, master.
They could have given him better. Like he as an actor is good, but they could have given him a better line setup.
You know what else I don't like in those movies? Fucking Natalie Portman. I don't. She was
no comment.
Oh yeah, she was right.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the irony. I don't like Natalie Portman in like a lot of. I like her, but I don't like her in a lot. Like in Thor, I fucking hate her. I can't stand her in Thor, and I couldn't stand her in Star Wars. The last time I watched something that I really liked her in was fucking Leon the Professional when she was like 10.
Oh yeah.
And like that was it.
Jesus.
I could not fucking.
That movie
was
one of, in my opinion, one of her best films ever.
It was cool. Quickly to kind of cut to the chase, because we want to kind of rein this in a little bit. I'm coming back to you. What is your most fucking like? What is your favorite like Star Wars moment?
It's also my most hated one.
It
is the one I hate to this day, it is the one I love of all time.
Oh God.
And it is by and far, and you'll understand why,
Oh.
the 1970s Christmas special.
Yes!
Because
That
as
doesn't
a,
count.
as
No, it doesn't fucking count.
Let me tell you why your opinions are wrong. you see, there's 20 minutes of this movie where they talk in Wookiee without subtitles.
that is one of the reasons I fucking loved it, because it was all you had to pick. You had to just look.
Like, it was that bad.
Like you had to look and hope that their acting was good enough, that it wasn't good enough, that you could like get the subtext of their actions and stuff speaking louder than their
fucking Wookiee
roars.
Christmas. You know what though? No, you know what? Not for nothing. Fucking George. That's like the one thing George Lucas. He's like, I've made one mistake, and you will never see it again. I refuse.
Every YouTube channel that has ever had that special listed has had it removed.
Fucking,
still keeps popping up.
He won't put it on the DVDs. He won't. Put it, there's a if you watch The People versus George Lucas, there's a scene in it where they talk about, I guess some place somewhere does like a Christmas thing every year,
Where they
and people vote for what they wanted, and the most voted on one was the Christmas special, the Star Wars Christmas special. And so people were like, well, how the fuck are they gonna get it? And then they actually played it, and it turns out to be a bootleg copy with the fucking commercials intact.
That's
It's
amazing.
fucking great. That is like the hidden. That is the hidden fucking gem of good job.
That was amazing.
That was good. That was fucking.
Eric, you deserve
that
a
was-
high five. Yeah.
So what about least favorite Star Wars moments? What do we got here that we can't fucking
Least
say? Because
favorite?
for me, least favorite Star Wars moment is fucking any time when Anakin has dialogue.
Yeah.
Anytime he fucking has.
You
to
just
speak.
saved me a spot because that's mine too.
All right. Well, that saves you. What about you, John?
Well,
what are your?
here's the thing. Y'all skipped over my grades and whatnot, but at the same
Oh,
time...
we did. I'm sorry.
No,
John.
it's
What is
cool.
your favorite Star Wars?
I'm banging
Kyle
on what
loves
he
it.
said. You fucking cut me up before I could say my other favorite Star Wars scene. And now it's gonna remain a mystery.
All right,
I'm
so,
not even gonna fucking say what it is.
like the
Okay.
Star Wars Christmas special.
It's not the fucking Star
All
Wars
right,
Christmas
But
special.
here's the thing. I don't have anything particularly from the films that I like, besides maybe the training sequence with Yoda and such. But I like two particular background things about the movies. First one being the whole Luke and Leia being siblings thing.
And making out.
Yeah, and fucking so. I completely forgot her name for some reason.
Who?
Leia's
Mom?
no, Leia's actress. I completely forgot.
Oh,
Carrie Fisher.
yeah,
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. There's a picture that floats around on the internet every once in a
I know
while
where this is going.
of the exact moment they found out they were brother and sister, and it's amazing. Like they're
Oh
just
my God.
shocked and disgusted, and I just love that they kept
I
that.
put my tongue in your mouth.
I just
I
love that they
tongued
kept
the
it
fuck
under
out of
lock
you.
and key. And then the other thing that I liked
We will
was
never talk about this again.
was the whole
You'll have to link that picture. 'cause
yeah, I'll
that-
find it.
that's-
But you
that
know,
sounds amazing. Our viewers should definitely.
I'll-
Yeah,
I'll plug it,
yeah.
I'll
we'll
plug it.
find it. But the other thing I like is how James Earl Jones is the voice of
Yeah.
Vader. But
You know
not
he only
so-
got paid like $2,000 for that?
Yeah.
Wow, best
Yeah.
$2,000 ever.
But
No.
I meant easy. I should
$1
say
billion
easiest.
fucking franchise.
You know, guys.
What?
Luke, I am Mufasa.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. The actor that was in the suit, I don't know what his
David
name
Dave
is.
Prowse, yeah.
Thank you.
Who also worked with Christopher Lee in the... no, he worked on the Hammer Frankenstein movies as the Frankenstein monster.
6
And
Degrees of
Christopher Lee
Christopher
was
Lee.
also in there, too, as one of the Frankenstein monsters.
6 Degrees of Christopher Lee.
6 Degrees of Christopher Lee.
Kind of goes to show how actors connect
Yeah.
people they
And even
they work with.
even look, you figure Christopher Lee was Dracula. So what happens when you turn Dracula into a Sith? Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Ah!
when Vader comes off the slab,
No!
Yeah.
which is also another
Oh!
dumb
But,
moment.
real
It
quick,
looks like the Frankenstein monster.
yeah, but
You
real,
just destroyed my brain.
real
Holy
quick
shit.
before we go too far off
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
thing, my other favorite moment is the fact that no one knew that Luke was the son of Vader until like opening night screen time, except for
Yeah.
George Lucas and James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Fucking
Because
fantastic.
in
Yeah,
the
it
suit,
was
he says like,
fucking amazing.
Luke,
I
he
killed
your
he does
father."
say yeah,
Yeah.
and when they
No,
recorded
no,
it,
look, Obi-Wan killed your father.
yeah,
something like
when
that.
they recorded it, he said something else,
Yeah.
and then they put it in later, and
I
fucking
am your
nobody.
father.
That's
Yeah, and then
great.
the moment that happened, everyone was like, "The fuck."
Yeah, that's fucking that's a
I think my
that's
jaw would have like
a
broke off
great
my
bit
face.
of
though.
fucking. That is how you.
Actually,
that
my
is-
jaw did break
That's
off
what
its
you
face.
do to handle a film industry.
Yeah.
That's fucking
He's
great.
kind of like,
That's-
"Shh, don't tell anyone."
that's
3,
fantastic.
2, 1.
That's fucking.
Everyone's just like,
What about the things you hate? What can you think of that you can't fucking stand? Any
there's-
Star Wars. It doesn't have to be the movies. Any Star Wars.
For me personally, it's the fact that, and I know you like the
I got something to
expanded
say.
universe and such. When I sit down and like look at something, I can't focus on too much stuff. Surprising in like certain other things that I like, webcomics that will not be named.
Certain trash that we won't talk about.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, I can't. For me, Star Wars, even though like I can see the movies and whatnot, I feel like I'm missing out if I don't like read too far in or like do my own research and such. And for someone that's like not too into it, that could be like a insurmountable starting point.
Okay. Understandable.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Oh,
what's something that you can't
I have
stand
something to
about
say.
Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I forgot. One more thing that I liked: pod racing.
Yeah.
I think it was
I
the
like
team
it.
Now
That was
this
the
is
team
pod racing.
That was just a kid thing, but I grew out of that. Okay, things I hate. Oh my god, I'm just gonna say it right now. That's one animated series for one. The newest one, the Rebels thing.
Clone
fucking-
Wars or whatever?
No, Rebels.
Clone Wars was all right.
Clone Wars was okay.
it
I liked
alright.
Clone Wars.
It's just Rebels, the one that Disney XD had.
Yeah, they just put it out.
I'm just like,
Disney
oh,
Star
fuck
Wars.
you.
It's our first taste of Disney Star Wars.
And then
We'll get into that.
another thing I hate, Star Wars for the Kinect.
Yeah, that's something to hate. Fucking Star Wars.
Like when they make Han Solo dance, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was like Dance Central.
You don't think Han
Like,
Solo?
kill me!
You don't think Han Solo gets down with his bad self every once in a while?
I mean, look at that classic '80s look that he has.
I don't
Like-
care. It's just I hate it.
I don't need to see Harrison Ford.
I'm
I
Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo.
Yeah. I kind of just want to gouge
You've
my eyes.
fallen so low, Tobin.
out. Oh yeah.
Tobin, what about you? What do you have to expel distaste for with the Star Wars?
We've
One-
heard twice.
I like Boba Fett.
Okay.
Bob-
I don't love Boba Fett, and I hate how everybody loves Boba Fett because Boba Fett sucks.
Yeah.
Also, one thing from the actual movies I hate. I like the scene where in Episode 3 where Darth Vader finally becomes Darth Vader in the suit.
No.
That's the part I hate. That the thing he does, the first thing he does as Darth Vader
It's bitch.
is go, no! He could have gotten up.
Motherfucker, it's your fault.
I think the scene would have been so much more powerful
If he had just been like,
if it had been, no, not if he had been silent. Being silent, that would have been powerful too. But if they wanted him to make noise,
I think they
He
should have
still
just
could have
ended
done
it with the breathing. Like, they could have just ended it with him breathing into the looking at the camera,
Or-
breathing, and then just going
and,
to
like,
black.
fade-
that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
they could have done. But if they insist on having him, continuing the movie after that, I think instead of him yelling no, he should have just made this like, something like that, a loud growling sound, and he sees like mechanisms like shorting out, sparks flying.
You know,
everywhere. I would have liked that.
I
That's
thought
what they
him
should
killing
have done.
everyone except for Palpatine in that scene would have been cool.
Where are these
Like,
you just
on a
handed me?
rampage.
Eric, what are these you just handed me?
There's and that's
We can't say that word. That's product placement.
What are these blue
Now I have to
flavor
talk about
is
all
blue?
of you bastard. You.
I got it. It's fine.
yell at Tobin. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. That scene was a little lackluster. Like you could have. That's actually something I don't like myself. Is the end of episode 3.
I like it either.
It feels so like it's like the end of fucking Return of the King. I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want this to be. This will be a later thing. We'll talk about this later. But it's like the end of Return of the King.
I think we do need to do a comparison.
We do. At some
We
point.
do.
It's like in fucking Return of the King, where it's like you have the fucking never-ending ending, and it's like that kind of. It just feels like a shallow ending for me.
It's a never-ending story.
Yeah, but it bothers me. This like, where it has to end, but the way it happened felt just kind of well. Here you go. Like it didn't. Not that it should make you feel good or make you feel bad. I didn't feel anything. I was like, well, this is over. Okay, click. I'm kind of done. Like the movie was just
Susan
done.
Christ going like
Getting on to the expanded universe, we've grown up in a generation that has been indulged with a lot of Star Wars video games.
Oh my god, I can't wait for this.
And it would be foolish for us not to talk about it.
Alright,
So,
let's do this.
what do we have here for some Star Wars games? Anybody what are some favorite Star Wars games here?
Love the Battlefront games, and I love the new one that's going to come out, even though we've seen practically jack shit from it.
But that gives me hope.
That gives me a lot of hope.
That gives me hope because they're doing what a lot of the best games we've seen so far of the new age sequels that we've been seeing, because we're seeing a whole lot of dick from them.
Yeah.
And then when they've come out, they've been these spectacular games.
Yeah.
Whereas some of these other ones, like Destiny, which got so much fucking hype, and honestly was a pretty trash game.
It was. But that's another conversation for another day.
Right, and but it's just a comparison for the time. Yeah. But I think the new Battlefront game, because of how long it's been that people have been wanting Battlefront to return, I think they're the reason they've taken so long, they're being quiet about it, is because they don't want to set up too much, like they don't want to set up an image and not be able to deliver. They want it to be able to be, here it is at face value, what we've been working on.
Yeah. Right. And almost like Knights of the Old Republic was one of those things that like it was really fucking big when it came out, and they kind of lulled for a little while, so they brought it back. And,
I never really.
Republic, and
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I never really liked Knights of the Old Republic. I liked what they set up, but I never could get into the actual game.
I'm on the same boat.
Yeah.
And you're a big RPG guy.
I played through them. Well, that's why I like the newer version, the Old Republic. Mm-hmm. I liked that one. I like that game a lot. I play that all the time. But the Knights 2 and Knights 1 and Knights 2, I couldn't do them. Like I just really couldn't get immersed into them and connected to them. And not for nothing, over the years it's grown worse because I'm just like a lot of gamers. I've been spoiled by graphics.
I can understand.
It's kind of tough to go back to those old style RPGs with the way the graphics are and not
it's hard to play EverQuest when you have whatever fuck else.
Right. It's
and I might get a lot of flack for this too, but I actually really enjoy the Force Unleashed games.
I was gonna bring that up because those are some pretty popular fucking games.
I
actually like them.
Really?
I've never.
All right. Think about it this way. God of War with lightsaber.
No. I've seen gameplay. I've seen.
Okay.
That's fine. I've seen gameplay. I've seen people play them. I've looked at like reviews and things like that. I've just never had the money or the time. Like never had the money to get them. Never had the time to go out and get them.
Yeah.
So I'd be willing to borrow it from someone.
Oh yeah.
Because I've never been able to have a chance to have my own voice on it.
There's definitely part of me that thinks that for the mainstream Star Wars fan, like the casual fan, that might just enjoy the movies and enjoy the games or has a kid or whatever, those are some really cool fucking ways to get into those. And they were canon for a little while.
They were.
They were considered canon because they took place between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
They're considered canon right now.
Are they still?
Yeah.
When Disney and Lucasfilms eradicated the EU as canon, they said anything that is in main light shows,
the main canon,
shows, games, and movies. That's all that's canon.
Okay, we'll get into that momentarily. What about fucking Lego Star Wars?
I was just about to bring that up.
Fucking
Lego Star Wars. You stole my thing.
Fucking
Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars to me is fucking great.
However,
I fucking did not like the original trilogy version of Lego Star Wars. I am all for the first Lego Star Wars game where I could play as Qui-Gon and fucking
I like the complete saga where you get all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
They are some great fucking games.
I'd like to interject on that because if you have the complete saga, you don't have the same version that the other two separate discs have.
Really?
They are different. They are some of them are very substantial differences. Some of them are very, very slim, subtle differences. Right. But to someone like me, who especially to someone like me, I don't hate it, but I actually like it. I think that's better because it gives you a reason to do them to go into all of them, to be able to see the differences between the two, because there are scenes and moments that are in the Lego Star Wars and then Lego Star Wars 2 that are not in the complete saga.
And it's another thing, the Lego fucking franchise these days is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And those games, Lego's always been huge, but and it comes to game form, they've had a couple like Lego Racers and shit like that.
I loved Billy D. Williams' cameo in the Lego movie. That was
cool.
That was
That was fun. But there you go.
Oh.
I mean, and I don't want to go too far because it is getting to another topic. But you figure fucking we have that Lego Indiana Jones, we have Lego Batman, we have fucking Lego SpongeBob.
Jurassic Park's coming out.
Lego Jurassic Park is coming out. We've had fucking Lego Pirates.
We got Lego Marvel and Lego DC.
Exactly. Fucking and video games.
Holy shit, we do.
Yeah.
I remember Lego Island.
Oh,
and
yeah.
fucking exactly Lego Island. And it's like those. I think they kind of really for the new common ground of the Lego games. They brought that fucking big time. But that'll be a conversation for another day because I want to start branching off of the Legos. But fuck it, Lego Star Wars. I think some of the best Star Wars games.
Yeah.
In general, and they're fucking great games. They're fun as hell. I love them.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna agree with you. And
I
say,
like
those
them
two.
so much. Lego Star Wars, out of the Lego games, Lego Star Wars is my favorite.
I thought that was gonna be my wild card. Lego Star Wars.
Because of the single fact, comparing it to the other Lego games, it is the only one that does not have a single line of vocal. Every other Lego game has had the actual lines from the movies or the shows or whatever it's referring to.
Yeah.
The first Lego Batman did not.
No,
that's right. Lego Batman
There are certain copies have edits in that do have it.
The original release.
I know the original release. What I'm saying is they did edit it. They have yet, but they have
You know
yet
who
to
else?
edit
You know
the
who else
other one.
edited it later? George Lucas.
Okay, that's just a big dick slap to the
Right.
face.
You're being a dick right now.
Yes, I am.
I'm actually bringing up a point,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
This is Tobin, shut up for a while.
It was good, George Lucas. He's not wrong.
No, he's
Fucking
not.
oversized
What I'm
Ewok.
saying is
Sit over
that's
there.
why I like it because they made it funny and enjoyable as a game because they didn't have to have a single damn thing said. They just were innuendo, thing like this, gesture to that, sound of general
Random sound.
The thing that they did very well was that they were very effective in getting across the plot with very little, and it was very enjoyable, kind of a fun, cute.
I loved. You want to talk, Dan? You want to talk?
Yeah.
Dan, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do got something to say. Okay. Well, you first.
Me first. Okay.
Diane, you walk first.
I loved in those games how they did Luke, I Am Your Father, where where Darth Vader just holds up a picture of Anakin and Padme.
And when there were two other in the episode 6 section when they're on Endor with the Ewoks and C-3PO is giving the story of Darth Vader and what the rebels are doing of why you should help us thing, and he's just holding up a sign of Darth Vader going and just making bad gestures, brings up Luke and them, and it's just like, yeah, it just gives these sounds of approval and whatnot. It's just going, and it's just like, and it's hysterical because it's satire and truth at the same time.
It is definitely.
You know,
definitely.
another thing I forgot to mention, you do know there was an animated Lego Star Wars series, right?
Yeah.
For a minute, at least.
Yeah, for a little while.
I
think there's an animated like Justice League Lego show.
Yeah, there is.
But, all right, but before, because we're gonna start getting into Lego, we're gonna start getting so we're gonna have I got two more topics that we're gonna hit here before we wrap this show up.
And then we do Tobin time, right?
And then Tobin will get his time.
Shut up,
and we're gonna have a subject for you.
Okay.
So I guess the next important thing. Do you? So we have a few people here because we referenced before Disney. You know, we do have Disney now owns Star Wars. They bought Star Wars from George Lucas and Lucasfilm.
Leia is now a Disney princess.
Leia is now a Disney princess. And we have a new Star Wars coming out, directed by J.J. Abrams, who's helmed the Star Trek series.
Yes.
Beautiful man.
I
beautiful
find that
man.
both
I can't wait.
great because I like him as a director. I like what he did with Star Trek. I find it ironic that he's now directing both of those series.
No, he is not.
Is he not?
He is gone from the Star Trek series because he's doing this, and Star Trek now doesn't have a director for the third film. They've lost their director.
Which I guess.
Wait.
Just,
So,
side note: Star Wars versus Star Trek. Now we know which one is better. Which one did J.J. Abrams choose?
But now we can have Star Wars versus Cloverfield.
yeah.
In
You know,
case you want to
I
not
want
that
that.
I know. Clover actually
Clover-
did look like something out of Star Wars.
He did. He kind of looked like the Rancor.
Yeah, just skinnier.
J.J. Abrams will
Ryan
introduce
Coogler's
a
the
new
accolade.
planet.
Yeah.
He will introduce a new planet where Clover is from.
That would be
Oh my
Crossover.
god!
crossover.
Yes!
And that's what brings Star Wars into our world.
It's a galactic beast.
So we have pending Star Wars, and it's a big thing. Disney's been buying a lot of shit. They bought Marvel, they bought fucking Star Wars. They own like everything. They own ESPN.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting new Star Wars. And obviously months ago we had the release of the Force Awakens trailer.
Yeah, Awakens.
Force Awakens.
And
Who here has seen that? Yet?
well, here's
I
the
have.
point. Not
I have
everyone
too.
here has actually seen it,
Yeah.
right? Like I've seen
That's
it.
what I'm trying to clear right
He
now.
hasn't seen it. So what we wanted to do is we're gonna play the Force Awakens trailer, and we're going to.
I actually gotta take a piss while you guys are watching. I'll go.
I
do
mean,
that.
you've already seen it, right?
Now I gotta
So you're not
cut
missing
this
it.
again. You fucker.
Don't worry, I got this.
It's okay.
Don't you understand? Urination is franchised.
Tobin.
You're crushing his bag, Toby.
God damn it, Tobin.
Set up your bag better, John.
No.
Just hurry up.
Time passes and Tobin comes back from the bathroom. Yeah, we're good. Come on.
The oversized Ewok returns.
You really are an oversized Ewok.
Why don't you
Okay.
call me a Wookiee?
Okay, so
You're not a Wookiee.
You're
You're
not
just an
Shaggy.
oversized Ewok.
All right.
all right, so we kind of took a break there for a second. So we have a few people here that haven't seen the Force Awakens
You
trailer.
guys are in for a treat.
So what we're gonna do is play
Fully
the
loaded.
Force
I'm gonna
Awakens
get
trailer.
to see this.
We're gonna play it all the way through, and then just see. Let's get a little couple reactions here. We got a couple Star Wars nerds in the audience, so we're gonna play the whole trailer, and then we're gonna get a little reaction afterwards.
Oh god, you guys are in for a fucking treat.
Are we gonna get copyright claims if we play
Not
the audio?
really.
Well,
I'm not worried
we'll
about
cut
it.
the
I'm not
segment.
worried about it. Don't worry about it.
We'll cut the segment with watching the show. That thing, but still.
So,
So let me know when you guys are ready.
We're ready, so
All right.
go for it.
Several minutes later, this happens.
That is my second favorite theme song in existence ever. Yeah, I know. That's just
All right. So everybody, we just finished watching the Force Awakens trailer.
Eric, you look like
I've
you
seen
jinxed
it.
yourself.
Tobin, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it.
I have.
Eric, you're the one who hasn't seen this yet.
You're the Force
Now,
Awakens person.
here's and John, you haven't seen this either. So here's a few things that I wanted to just kind of point out immediately, and then we'll get some opinion on kind of what you saw. The biggest thing for me is it looks definitively different. It looks like it has nothing. There's nice similarities to George Lucas's directing.
Oh yeah.
It is clear that it is a different person behind the camera. The shot composition is different. It has a different. The lighting looks different.
The special
tone
effects feel
looks
different.
different. The special effects actually look fucking great.
Yeah.
Which I know Star Wars special effects. The original ones I love the practical effects, but as there was more CG in the prequel trilogy, I kind of dislike that. But the fucking CG here looks fantastic. Visually speaking, this looks much more interesting to me. It's much more dynamic.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I actually am looking forward to seeing it. And I'm not even a big Star Wars guy, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it because it just looks like a
I'm
cool.
definitely going
cool
to the
I think we
midnight
should all
showing
go.
of this.
We should all go.
So let's kind of get a little back and forth. Tobin, what do you think?
I never, on principle, I never form any opinions based on trailers. Ever.
So form one.
Form one.
Or do you want me to take your
I thought you were
spot?
about to say how.
We may have to go back to Tobin.
Based on what I saw,
Yeah.
it looks like it could be good. It looks like it could be a pile of shit.
You know what it looks an awful lot like?
What?
Star Trek.
Yes.
It looks a
Star
lot like
Wars.
Star Trek.
I really hope there are no lens flares
Oh,
It doesn't look like it.
in The Force Awakens.
So
Well,
It doesn't look like it at all.
Not yet.
I like that the stormtroopers are implementing a racial equality program so that now we have black stormtroopers.
So and
No,
that's
here's-
been a
here's
big
the thing about that.
big fucking.
That
There's
was a
a
big concept.
third black guy in the Star Wars universe.
Before we get into the racial diversity of Star Wars. That's been a big source of controversy because people are like, how can there be a black stormtrooper?
Yeah.
They're clones.
Wait, hold
And-
on. I got the thing for that. The fact that I'm buzzing. But the thing about that is, fucking in the first movie, Luke and Han steal the stormtrooper uniforms
Yeah,
as well.
that's
So
the
why-
whole point. Why can't somebody else?
Yeah.
That was the kind of
So that's probably
contested argument.
why that's happening.
The other really big
Because
fucking
I'm sure
debate.
they recruited from planets.
Yeah.
The other really big fucking debate is
A
the
lightsaber.
lightsaber with a hilt.
okay, I'm just gonna say this right
I
now.
love that.
A hilt on a lightsaber is more practical than a lightsaber with another lightsaber on the other end.
Not necessarily.
I mean-
it's fighting style. That's designed for staff fighting style.
It's-
This is designed for Claymore
Yeah.
fighting style. But this lightsaber, that design is actually
canon.
It is an EU. It is a Sith's lightsaber.
Yeah.
But that does not look like who that should belong to.
Mhm.
No,
Well, that's there's been in the expanded universe, there's been other things, fucking, in the comic, what's his face? Luke has a Shoto saber, it's like really short. And there's the other lady, she has a lightsaber whip.
Lightsaber cheese knife.
Lightsaber cheese knife.
That's
The
for when
perfect
Yoda
gift for
has to,
Wallace
like, get
of the
rid of
Wallace and Gromit fame.
You know, a
Um,
lightsaber whip sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
It
she
does.
had that. Like, there's like
That is an
lightsaber
actual
axe.
weapon.
I think
Yeah.
someone had.
There has not been a lightsaber axe,
No.
but there are vibro weapons in the Star
Okay.
Wars universe,
Alright.
and vibro axe is one of the things.
So you know that's
Vibro, you say?
that's
God
been one of
damn
those
it.
other big fucking things of contention with some hardcore fans.
I've
But you know
seen
what's
so
so
many
fun?
edits of it. Like
Right.
the fucking my favorite one is when it
Just
just
the Swiss Army
yes,
saber.
the Swiss
Yeah.
Army knife
It's
is
fucking
awesome.
You know,
fantastic.
has it?
And then
But-
another
but
one was
before-
fucking dick butt. That
I've
was
seen
a-
that thick butt. I actually think like the I like the idea of new direction, a little new
Yeah.
investment.
It looks good.
I like that.
it looks pretty
I
good.
just kind of hope that it disattaches itself from the the last
Yeah.
6 films as much as it
It's
can.
I
a-
don't.
look,
I-
seeing the Falcon,
I
there
think-
is going to be connection,
Yeah.
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially for the fact that we all do know that Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, they are all cast for the film.
Yeah.
So there is going to be connection to the old thing, but I'm with you on I'm with you on that, and I'm hoping they're not like making strong connections to the events of the first 6.
Yeah.
Because I think if they go, here's a little backstory, but then really push for something fresh, I think it'll
I would
both
yeah.
rebuild Star Wars in the eyes of the fans and better the company itself by branching from it.
That's what I'm saying. I would prefer a new story with new characters to have
That's-
their own
you know,
dynamic.
one
and
thing-
their own
One thing
trilogy.
that I will say about Star Wars Rebels
Mhm.
is at least it's taking focus away from the Skywalker clan.
Yeah.
We don't need any more stories about
Yeah.
the Skywalker
We
family.
have enough.
No,
We have 6 movies plus another animated movie and a freaking TV series kinda
Yeah.
about the Skywalker clan
and video games.
Yeah.
Video games.
Video games.
Video
and
games.
books.
You know,
So what
Oh,
about
God, the books.
what about you? What are your thoughts on this trailer? This is your first time seeing it, so what do you think?
There's a third black guy in the Star Wars universe.
That's a big hang up for you.
John, you and I
I've
have our work cut
always
out for
put
us.
the argument out there of how come we've only ever seen Mace Windu,
I was about to say who the fuck is the other one? I was like,
Mace
yeah,
Windu,
Samuel
and Lando
Jackson.
Calrissian,
Mace Windu.
one per fucking trilogy.
Yeah.
Let me hope this guy is not the only one in this new trilogy.
Watch, he's gonna be the first one to die.
Arrgh!
That'll be the thing.
But
No, wait, Mace
Um,
Windu
But
died.
wait, it's directed by J.J. Abrams. He's got to be in red first.
Yeah.
That's true. He's got to be in red first. He's got to be a red shirt.
Yeah,
What about
honestly,
you, Dan? What do you have to
Me,
incorporate?
in all honesty, that trailer re-sparked my hope. I mean, like, a lot of good movies from our past, our little childhood
It's a
nostalgia.
new hope.
It is a new
Yeah,
fucking
like I'm saying, like, it's shaping up to be really good. I do like the new directions. I like how they kept the old sound effects too, and
Yeah.
like kind of beefed them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And
It's very familiar.
yeah, the
Yeah.
visuals. You know, I'm a very visual person. I'm an art person, and I just like melted my eyeballs. That was fucking great.
I'm
And-
very interested to see Bestiary.
Oh, I'm very interested
For
to
the
see
new
Bestiary
series.
and how they carry the Sith. I can't wait to see that.
I'm glad Andy Serkis is going to be in it.
Or
Yeah, you didn't know that?
no.
Andy Serkis is in it.
Does he not? Is he not the voiceover in the beginning of the trailer?
He might be.
It's
I mean-
speculated that the voiceover in the beginning of the trailer is either Andy Serkis or Benedict Cumberbatch. Nobody actually knows
Andy-
who it is.
Ben,
Andy Serkis.
Benadryl Krusty
Here's
Bones.
why. I want to see a movie. Gollum versus Caesar versus whoever the fuck he's playing in this
King
movie.
Kong.
versus King Kong.
Versus King Kong.
That'd be fucking great.
Oh god, I would love that.
That'd be kind of
Yeah,
I
fucking
was
cool.
busting out all over the movie.
So to wrap the show up, we're gonna do a quick little poll question here, and it's gonna be kind of a cool segment that I want to kind of do at the end of every episode. We'll see how it goes. So our poll question for the day is, who wins, Darth Maul versus Darth Vader?
Oh god.
Dan,
Me?
on the spot, who are you calling, Darth Maul versus Darth Vader?
I'm calling Vader.
Vader, and why?
Why? Well, let's see. Besides the fact that he's like really, really good at what he does, he's slow compared to like Maul has the speed advantage, but Vader is a lot more powerful.
Okay,
I think with the Force he's a lot more powerful at least.
John, Maul or Vader?
I represent the mighty nation of Switzerland. In
Good
this debate.
John, shut
job.
the fuck
Good
up.
man. Good man.
I don't know enough about it.
You're gonna have a lot to say, so I'm gonna hold off on you. Tobin, Maul versus Vader. Who takes it?
Vader has a better command over the Force. Maul is the better lightsaber fighter.
That is true.
I say it's a deadlock. They end up teaming up to fight against the forces of good.
So they end up teaming to fight against Caesar and King Kong
yes,
and all of Andy
exactly.
Serkis's characters. Okay, and
Or they just get an ice cream.
or they get Eric.
They get some blue milk.
You're in the corner here. You're pen up. What do you have to say? Darth Maul versus Darth Vader. Who takes it?
Ooh, I'm going to. I am not springing neutrality. I'm springing an equilibrium on it because
Equilibrium.
because as we know, Vader is a good chunk of him is mechanical.
Yes.
So Anakin never was a very strong saber fighder.
No.
He was always good with his emotions, so he was really good with the Force. Which is why Vader is much more powerful with
he
the
just
Force.
had just all that bacteria that was so good.
Right, that I don't have.
all that bacteria.
All those tissues.
But
would be
Darth
about to
Maul
panic.
was also he was much more of the combat oriented of the two Sith. But I think it would end up being a long-term stalemate in that Vader would end up winning just out of experience throughout the years, because we do have to remember Maul was still an apprentice at the time that he had gone up against Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, because he was still Darth Sidious's apprentice. He was still learning because this was one of his trials. And had this been Maul after mastering his Sith powers, I think it would have been a more of a stalemate match that would last a long time. But as they are, as we know them by Maul at the end of the first film and Vader at the end of the series, Vader would end up winning in the larger scheme of things.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree. I think Vader. I think Maul is a much cooler character, but I actually think Vader would win because Maul is a badass son of a bitch,
Let's not forget he appeared in Insidious.
but Force choke. And I'm sorry, fucking Darth Maul needs to breathe.
Yeah.
And if not, you can crush his fucking skull.
It's like you
So,
always say, 100 yards away.
I'm
Just-
gonna exactly.
Yeah,
I'm going.
I don't know any Zebraks that can't breathe and live.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Darth Vader is gonna have to take it all the way.
Got it.
So that's gonna wrap it for our first ever Bad Movie Studios podcast. And to shape things up, I'm gonna turn the mic over to Tobin for his first ever segment of Tobin Talks. Today, Tobin, you are gonna have to connect Steven Seagal to Yoda, and you have 5 minutes on the clock. Ready, go.
All right, Yoda, right? He's a master. He is a master of the Force. He is just a martial arts master. Steven Seagal, on the other hand, is not that. In the beginning, he might have had a bit of, prowess.
You mean
However-
Tyrannosaurus?
Eventually, he just kind of became too fat to kick. You know? So that's my connection. Yoda, master of martial arts. Steven Seagal, piece of shit who can't do a character.
Well, that's always a good way to end the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. And
You mean listening?
shut up. That's an ending.